How to fix an untestable system, Uncle Bob. Hello, I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech Support said they're coming out Tuesday for that, as I've been told by them many times. Today I'm reacting to a video with Uncle Bob, which I have mixed feelings about this guy. I mean, one thing he's trying, but he's also doing hardcore grift and doing a lot of sales and hypnotic induction methods, and either intentionally or unintentionally, probably a little bit of both. I might like and subscribe because I like to dev tools make simple. He does the clips and stuff out of these big conference. I've watched a lot of these, and I come to the conclusion it's mostly sales, trying to get them into buying the books and then get them into hopefully getting into trainings and certifications and add-on services and consulting services, and it's sales. So I mean, I respect the game, I respect the grift, I get it, but I also get to call it out.
You have a whole bunch of code that is not tested, that was not designed to be testable.
Right.
How do you?
As in, like pretty much every project I've ever been taken in on ever. Like he says, like it's like this is unusual. It's like no, this is very still today common.
Even approach getting this button that gives you the green light. How do you approach a test suite that you can trust?
When he says a button green light, okay, it means the test's all passed. Okay, keep going.
And the answer to that is, first of all, don't make a project out of it. Don't decide for the next 3 months, we're gonna run a whole bunch of tests. This project will fail. And it will discredit everybody who's been a part of it. It will not produce the tests.
That has not been the case for me. I said it like it's like a sure shot thing. I was definitely involved in efforts that we put in tests in after the team had left and all that stuff. I was putting in tests in, and I was not anathema. I was not thought down upon to create some automated test suite through the happy path through the app instead of me doing it manually every time I wanted to do a release. Wait, what are you talking about? Let's keep going.
That you want, and it will probably leave the system in a worse shape than you began.
No, it was better. We've actually found bugs with it. It was able to reproduce stuff. Okay, it's anecdotal, but I'm just saying, like, the one thing he says is sure to happen, 100% guarantee. If you do this pathway, you are going to end up over here. It's like everyone in the audience is going, and I'm in the audience when I first heard this. I'm like, I don't know, that's true. I mean, that's been pretty much every job I've been on. It's been that kind of thing where I come in, I have to put some kind of thing that monitors it or makes it more understandable or test it somehow, or either I'm the person doing the testing of it.
It happens whenever you start a project to correct a long-term lack of discipline.
Okay, so there's the other way, which I have kind of seen some of this, where people will break the old thing. We'll use that as a template, knowings, understandings, learnings. If the team is still around, which is often not the case, but let's like some of the team is still around, we can take that and rebuild it, and not with the same way. Maybe do with some other architecture style. Like I suggest Alan Kay, which I go into my course, my free course on GitHub about how to program from the computers from the ground up with minimal bullshit. That it's free. I'm not selling anything. I don't sell anything else. So my sales technique is very bad because I'm not selling anything at this point in my venture. I have sold things in the past right now, but I'm not selling anything right. This is not part of it. So I know what selling is. Yeah, so his prediction didn't come true in pretty much every place I've worked. So let's keep going.
The solution
is, but oh yeah. So what I was trying to say is we use that as a template. Now I have done this quite a bit, where we take a version 1 or whatever they did, which got together, they got a product market fit. I would not be even talking to them if they hadn't done that hard part, which is not trivial, to find a product market fit, where you've got a skill set of people, a market you've seen, you found some talent to fulfill that market, and then you have a tunnel for sales, so you can profitably deliver on that exchange. All right, yeah, you might come into version 2 where you clean it up, make it testable, make it hardier, clip stuff out that we didn't use, we rewrite. or write over. I still use the ideas and concepts and learnings, but not that code. That's a great. That's when you do the tests. When you add the tests, that's a good plan. If you try to add tests to the old one, it's like it's possible to do it. It's surface level, but you're still going to be very dissatisfied because you're not going to be sure when you make a change, whatever. Whereas if you build it for that from the beginning and not have to do the product market fit craziness that you have to do, if you already have a solution in mind and you want to make it performant and scalable and or more easy to understand, yeah, you got to rewrite it with that in mind.
Is to change attitude. You shift your attitude. You say, I'm from now
Get your attitude straight, bucko.
on, I and every member of my team, whenever we touch this code, we will make it a little bit better. This is the Boy Scout rule I talked about earlier. But when you're making a little bit better, you check out the code, you look at it, you do whatever you have.
Is this part of the schedule? Is this part of the estimate you're talking that we have to all have to make? It just all depends, right? If we have something that's performant, if we already have something that's performing in the market, right, in the marketplace, where we have products and customers and something through, yeah, maybe we can spend time on this. But if we haven't got that yet, I don't know. It's important until you get there to start thinking about some of this stuff. And it should be on the rewrite, not to just fix a couple bugs, add some tests. Like, no, man. If you don't write it for that in mind, the product market fit thing, which is often rarely the case. It's rare. It's just rarely the case. It's written that way.
After to it, you make it a little bit better. When you make it a little bit better, you are thinking about how you're going to get tests in there. Now you may be able to write a test.
But I recommend rewrite as opposed to this Boy Scout try to make it a little bit better. I mean, you're only going to get it so far if it wasn't designed for it, which a lot of the stuff isn't, because we're doing product market fit. Remember?
Don't write too many. Don't go crazy. Write enough tests to
What does that mean?
satisfy you for that day, and then check them in.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. See, it's this casual, off-the-cuff rhetoric style that he delivers. It's almost like he's heard these complaints from people and they're asking this question, and he's like making up in his mind what the solution would be without actually having to take the advice he's giving and do the solution and really feel that the results of that. Which this Boy Scout rule, I mean, as you go, after you've created a thing, after you've made it testable and all that stuff, you do the version 2. Yeah, Boy Scout rule might make a sense. Yeah, we have to add new tests as you change stuff. Well, duh. But for the version 1, you're asking a lot because your tests can slow you down. I mean, you're trying to just figure out if even anything's here, a solution's even here, if even though there's a market for this, people even exist, even want this thing, etc.
But you might not be able to write any tests because the code was not designed.
I love Dev 2 snippets. He just has this random code
testable.
snippets in here because that wasn't in the original. This is random code snippets. Val equals 1, return running val times running val. Let's keep it.
It's too risky to change it to then write tests. So what you'll do then is you will make some small change to make the code approach testability just a little bit closer. You'll break some coupling, you'll open up some function, you'll change some function.
I mean, maybe we're talking about version 1 or the rewrite to build it so it's testable and don't have to worry about trying to shoehorn something in that was never meant to be there when you could just easily build it from the ground up with that in mind. Now that you have product market fit and a customer base and bills can be paid and these lights can be kept on and servers can be kept running. I don't know what else to say about that.
An argument, something like that. And then you'll check it in and walk away and hope that the next guy can push it a little closer to testing. And then bit by bit, this code will get better and better. What code will get better and better? The code that you're actually touching. There'll be a whole bunch of code in there that you never touch.
What does that mean? How do you know? Because you're trying to update the version 1, which has a bunch of stuff. We're trying all kinds of stuff. We're trying to get that product market fit. We're trying to get the VC involved. We're trying to get actual customers involved. We're trying to friends and family that we can make a suggestion, update, change over here. It's like, no, we're not doing that. No, Stripe's out of business. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. Yeah, maybe you should scrap it after you get some traction on something. Yeah, we're gonna scrap that. Scrap that even it's like not unused code. It's like, we're going to use all of it. What are you talking about? We're using all of it. We're trying to abandon. We're not trying to bring along crufty stuff. Keep going, Chris.
Already works. You're never going to see it again. Don't go digging around in that stuff. It's the code
Ugh,
draft.
that's definitely where we grew up. We grew up in that environment, me and him. Definitely that was like, don't dragons be here. Dragon be further than here, there be dragons. There was stuff like that. Because everything was all intertwined together, right? There was no Alan K hadn't has influence. It was just C++, so we can objects and classes, and that was object-oriented programming. And you can have static variables and static functions that directly access each other, so there's no API. Because it's faster, it's more performant, huh? And it's like, yeah, but then there's this whole other problem with the spaghetti code that we're trying to get away from. It's like, no, don't worry about that. We're performant. It's like, okay.
Manipulating that you want to improve. Secondly, sometimes you'll be asked to add new features. And you'll realize...
Sometimes? What do you mean sometimes? That's all we're asked, buddy. What are you talking about, Robert?
Very quickly, that there's two ways to add the new feature.
There's this code. What is it doing? There's got a check here. There's an array coming in, upper and inner bound if it's inside the thing. So it's doing a search. Okay.
Is to smear a bunch of code in the existing legacy.
Smear? Right? What does that mean? What does that mean? These undefined terms. This is like he's doing that hypnotic induction stuff. Oh, that sounds technical. Smearing code. What is that? Is that what if you let us look at your code, we'd want to do with it? Is go into the restroom and smear it?
If statements and flags and stuff like that, so that you can get this new feature in. The other way is to write the new feature in a completely separate module, and then couple that module in from the outside into the legacy code.
Okay, yes, that's one way to get around it, or design it that way to begin with. I mean, if you're trying to incrementally go up that way, it's just brutal. I've done it. I've tried it. I know what he's talking about. Like, people want to do it, but if you don't design it that way in the beginning with that particular kind of style of use case involved in mind, it's just painful. You know, you just have another level of indirection for the next guy to look at. It's like, why is this over here on its own? What the hell is this doing over here? Everything else makes sense. Oh, that was Jerry. He was trying to update the code base based on Uncle Bob. He has a whole interface on everything now, where it doesn't make sense because Uncle Bob told him that's the way to make his code base work better.
That second way is the harder of the two, and it's the one you should do.
Because oh wow! See, I told you I had not previewed. I swear to God, I hadn't previewed this, but I knew what he was gonna say because it's something. Because it's the managers. He's doing sales for the managers who want to keep the code base. They've got $1 million in that code base. It's like that part of that movie, Aliens 2. There's $1 million. That's $1 million installation. It's like $1 million. I think he meant $1 million billion. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this. So the managers don't want to let go of that code base. They know it needs to be written. They know. They've heard the complaints. They've heard it over and over. But Bob comes in and goes, no. You can just split stuff up in an interface. And I mean, it is one strategy, but it's like, Uncle Bob, I'm not talking about toy problems here. These things are massive, huge, all crufty old stuff that's left over from when Jim and Sally were here back in 2009. It's like, and nobody knows why it's there, but we've tried to change it in the past, and it wrecks everything. It's that kind of stuff. Oh man, it's such a nightmare. So Bob, I don't know if you've done that lately or been in the pits. I know he's been in the pit when he's early on in his career, but has he been in the pit lately with the leveling size? And we got 1 million lines on this code in this thing. We got 1 million billion lines of code.
You can write all of that code with tests, and you can then factor it into the legacy. So you will have improved the legacy system by doing that. Over.
Ooh, you gotta get permanent sign off if you want to keep that legacy code limping along by that method. If one guy goes in there, cowboy ended up, it's just gonna make things even harder when we have to go back and then do it. You have to like do the version 2. It's like, why is 1/3 of the code base behind all these interfaces, and 2/3 of it this archaic style of static variables pointing at everything? Jim came together. He heard a conference by Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob said, "You got to do it this way," and he got everybody convinced to do it. And then about a year and a half later, He got an offer from Google, and now he's gone. No one understands why we're doing this.
A lot of time. The legacy code will get better and more tested.
So I want to see a study on that, sir. At this point in time, after he's been on to go around touting these things, you would think you have an independent study that proved that legacy code bases will get better and better by putting them behind an interface and allowing that interface to be tested. I would like to see the study. Uncle Bob.
And then it becomes a bit like a snowball, because as it gets better and more tested, you start to trust the tests more. That allows you to do even more cleanup, which lets you trust the tests even more, which allows you to do more cleanup, and you get this runaway snowball effect.
So do you have examples of that where you weren't personally involved? Someone just took your advice and did it on their own without having to go through your courses and your counseling or your what is it called, your consulting firm and your courses and your certifications and your books and week-long radical revolution changes for the developers. Can you show me the study?
You're kind of hoping that'll happen sometime within a year or so.
Really? Wow, he even gets a time frame. So that's a few years old. We should see some results by now. Uncle Bob? I'm just saying, I'm down to see these results because I've seen what you're talking about. I've been looking at how well it is to implement, how specific it is, and I'm not really seeing a big change. Now, for Alan's stuff, yeah, Jaeger Brigango, yes. Yours, I mean, is it even yours? Did you even come up with it? I don't know, man. All right. Like and subscribe, and I'll continue my rants later.